All right, everyone, get ready for another deep dive. Today, it's all about Julia Quinn's A Night Like This.
Oh, this one's juicy.
We've got these excerpts, and let me tell you, this Regency romance, phew, there's a lot going on.
More than meets the eye, that's for sure.
We start with Daniel Smythe-Smith. He's the Earl of Winstead, and talk about an entrance.
Back from exile, the whole duel thing, you'd think he'd be keeping a low profile.
Right. But no, the second he's back in London, bam, another brawl.
This guy in trouble is like they're best friends.
Seriously. But it definitely shows you what Daniel's all about.
Yeah, like brooding, kind of dangerous, but you can tell underneath there's honor and loyalty too.
For sure. Then we meet Anne Wynter. She's our leading lady.
Governess, so basically invisible in high society back then.
Right, totally blending in, but you realize pretty quickly she's not your average governess.
Well, not at all.
First of all, she is terrified of running into Daniel.
Like really scared.
And that fear, it's like a giant red flag.
It makes you think, what's she hiding? Just not wanting the gossip. Or is there something bigger going on?
I know, right? Like a secret life or something.
Definitely.
And that whole awkward encounter in the hallway. Yikes, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife.
I was holding my breath reading that part.
She's desperate to stay hidden.
And Daniel, even though they barely know each other, he's hooked.
Already, yeah.
He can sense there's more to her than meets the eye.
And it's not just the mystery.
Oh no, she's sharp, witty, and that spirit of hers, wow.
She does not back down.
Not one bit.
Remember when he finds her hiding after that, well, you know, that compromising situation?
Oh yeah.
She's rattled for sure, but she doesn't fall apart.
Nope, she stands her ground, challenges him, throws it right back at him.
It's awesome she's no damsel in distress.
Definitely not. She's intelligent, she's resourceful, she can handle herself.
Even with someone like Daniel, all powerful and intimidating.
She doesn't care about titles, she's going to speak her mind.
And, you know, that's not exactly proper for a woman in her position back then.
Forget proper, she's Anne.
Exactly. And the more time they spend together, that attraction, boom.
A wildfire, out of control.
Their conversations are electric. The chemistry is off the charts.
And it's not just physical. They both have these sharp minds. They really enjoy talking to each other.
They get each other.
They challenge each other's ideas, a real meeting of the minds, which, let's be honest, was rare back then.
Oh, absolutely. Women were supposed to just sit there and look pretty.
Basically.
But not Anne, no way.
That scene in Hyde Park, I think that's when things shift for Daniel.
Oh, totally. She just casually drops all this knowledge about his family history.
Like it's nothing.
But it makes you wonder, where did she learn all this?
Exactly. Suddenly, she's not just a random governess.
She's got this hidden past, and of course, Daniel picks up on it.
Oh yeah, he sees she's way too smart, way too informed for her supposed station.
Adds to the intrigue, definitely.
And let's not forget, this is Regency England. Super strict social hierarchy.
Oh yeah, huge deal back then.
Daniel's an earl, top of the ladder. Anne's a governess.
Right.
Practically invisible.
Right. And his aunt, Lady Plensworth, she makes it crystal clear he needs to marry well.
A suitable match. That's what she calls it.
Love versus duty. That's the struggle.
And in those days, marrying for love, that was for the common folk, not the aristocracy.
Titles, fortunes, family alliances, that's what mattered.
And poor Daniel, he's caught in the middle.
He's falling for Anne, but society's got other plans for him.
Exactly. Intelligence, loyalty, a spirit that can't be tamed. That's not what a suitable wife is supposed to be like.
So much pressure on him, and then just as things are heating up, bam, her past comes back to bite her.
Enter George Shervill.
And you can tell from Anne's reaction, this guy is bad news.
Pure terror.
Like a ghost from a past she's desperate to forget.
Yeah, and it's not just, oh, he knows my secret. It's deeper than that.
Right, it's like there's this trauma connected to you.
Like she's reliving something awful just by seeing him.
And Daniel, being the good guy he is, he wants to help, even though he has no clue what's going on.
Makes him fall harder for her, you know, seeing her vulnerability like that.
And finally, in this super tense carriage ride, she breaks down and tells him everything.
Nina comes out.
About George, about what happened, about why she had to change her identity and disappear.
Marianne, that was her old life, the life she had to leave behind. Wow. It's a turning point for sure. It brings them closer, builds this trust between them.
But it also puts her in a more dangerous position.
Because now her past isn't just haunting her, it's a real threat.
And then, to make things worse, Daniel gets attacked at Whipple Hill.
Out of nowhere.
And we find out the attacker. He's out for revenge for his son, the guy Daniel hurt in that duel.
Talk about a blast from the past.
It's a reminder that danger's never too far behind, especially for Daniel.
The past has a way of catching up, doesn't it?
And just when we think, okay, things can't get crazier, Anne disappears.
Vanishes without a trace.
She didn't just leave, that's clear, and the search is on.
Everyone's worried, especially Daniel.
He's beside himself, terrified something terrible happened.
It's a race against time to find her.
The suspense is killing me.
Me too. You know what's really impressive about Anne? She doesn't just sit around waiting for things to happen.
Yeah, she's not a helpless victim.
Even with all this danger, she's making choices affecting the story.
Definitely. Like when she pushes Frances, the Plensworth daughter, out of the carriage.
To save her.
So brave, knowing she's risking everything by staying with George.
It shows what she's made of, selfless, thinks on her feet, so much courage.
And no wonder Daniel's falling for her. Hard.
He sees it too, that strength, her compassion. It goes way beyond social status.
And speaking of Daniel, when he realizes Anne's gone, heartbreaking.
He completely freaks out.
It's more than just, oh, I like this girl. He's fiercely protective.
Remember when he goes off on Lady Plensworth?
He's barely holding it together, desperate to find Anne.
You can feel his love for her. It's that strong.
It's like he's carrying the weight of the world, plus all those societal expectations.
But he doesn't let that stop him. He's doing everything he can to find her.
Even goes to Hugh Prentice for help, the guy he dueled with.
That's a huge step for Daniel.
Shows how much Anne means to him, putting aside the past like that.
Forgetting their differences, finding Anne is all that matters.
It's a real test of character. And then Frances mentions that George took her near Park Crescent.
Just a tiny detail, but it gets things moving.
It's like a classic mystery, all these clues.
The receiving house, Charlotte's letter, what Granby says, even the bootmaker's assistant.
Slowly putting it all together.
Leading them to the truth.
And then finally, that confrontation at the inn, Daniel, Marcus, and Hugh bursting in.
What an entrance.
Talk about tension. You can practically feel Daniel's emotion.
Relief that Anne's alive. Anger at what she's been through.
And George, oh boy, he is exactly what we expected.
Smug, condescending, loving that he thinks he has power over Anne.
But Anne, even being held captive, she doesn't give in.
Defiant, she won't let him break her.
Buys time for Daniel and the others to arrive. It's dangerous, but so smart.
And when she tells George they're engaged, genius.
Throws him off guard, uses his jealousy against him.
Gives Daniel the upper hand when he shows up.
And we can't forget Hugh Prentice, surprisingly helpful.
Yeah, gives them info, even risks himself to help rescue Anne.
Shows you people aren't always what they seem.
Even enemies can work together when it matters.
Makes the story even more interesting. And then, just when it seems like George is winning, things change.
Anne's got the knife. For a second, it looks like she's in control.
So clever, makes you wonder, is she going to fight back?
But Daniel, instead of disarming her, he does something unexpected.
He asks George what he said to his wife.
So smart, distracts George, appeals to his ego.
Lets Daniel get close enough to take him down.
Daniel's not just muscle. He thinks things through, uses his words like weapons.
And then that reunion between Anne and Daniel. So beautiful.
After all that tension, just pure emotion.
He's so relieved she's safe. She finally lets herself break down.
You feel their joy, their relief, how much they care for each other.
And then boom, Daniel proposes. He knows he wants to be with her forever.
Classic romance, but it's a big deal. He's choosing love over duty.
Society be damned, he wants Anne no matter what.
Doesn't want to wait either, special license and all that.
No time to waste. Make her his wife. Keep her safe.
So romantic, but you have to wonder, can their love really survive all this pressure?
Will Anne escape her past, build a future with Daniel?
In George, he's caught. But is it really over? Could he come back to cause trouble?
It's like a soap opera, right? But wait, there's more?
Oh yeah, buckle up.
Daniel goes to see Charlotte, and it turns out, get this, she's married to George Sherville.
No way.
Seriously, talk about a plot twist. The guy who's been tormenting Anne is connected to Daniel's family.
It's like everything's tangled up, and Charlotte's reaction is the weirdest part.
Right. She's so chill about it, almost defending George.
It's so different from how Anne reacted, makes you think.
Yeah, like maybe everyone sees things their own way, or maybe she's just choosing to ignore the bad stuff.
It shows how complicated people are, how the truth can be different for everyone.
Definitely, but even with this crazy news, Daniel doesn't change his mind about Anne.
Not one bit.
He doesn't care what Charlotte thinks. He's not worried about gossip. He's choosing Anne.
He sees her for who she really is, past and all. That's true love right there.
It really is, and then we get that final scene, Anne and Daniel talking about the future.
After all that drama, it's so peaceful, so intimate.
You can feel the hope, a fresh start.
They understand each other. They've been through so much. but their love is stronger.
And Anne, you can tell she's finally letting go of the fear, the guilt.
Ready for a new life with Daniel? A happy life.
It's a perfect ending, a roller coaster of emotions, but in the end, love wins.
Anne's story shows us that love can overcome anything, but it also makes you think about society's rules, how far we'll go to protect the people we love.
It's got everything, romance, suspense, it makes you think, and it stays with you long after you finish reading it.
We've seen love blossom, we've seen the human spirit endure, we've been reminded that hope can exist even in the darkest moments.
So, what did you all take away from Anne and Daniel's story?
Anne's journey reminds us that love knows no bounds. It also prompts reflection on societal norms and the lengths we go to safeguard ourselves and loved ones.
And for all you romance fans out there, this book has it all. The stolen glances, the heart-fluttering moments, the kind of love you dream about. But it also digs deeper into identity, forgiveness, having the guts to break the mold.
It's a story that lingers, inviting contemplation on the intricate nature of relationships and the enduring power of love and forgiveness.
It's a reminder that there's always more to discover, just like in this deep dive into A Night Like This. So until next time, keep exploring those bookshelves.